Happy New Year to all of my loyal viewers. I really appreciate all that you've done for me. This has been a great year for me. Now, my channel is still very small, but it's steadily growing. In fact, this last month, though, since Thanksgiving, I've sold over $100,000 in lighting equipment, and I've got some affiliate links for that. So this is a big month for me, and I want to thank all of you for doing that. Now, yes, I have shaved the beard here for the new year. I don't know how long I'm going to keep it like this. I use it to kind of hide this chin right here, but I'm either going to grow the beard back or get the chin cut off. Well, this chin, not the main chin, obviously. In this video, rather than review some gear, I'm going to talk about the secret to my success. Not so much the success of my YouTube channel, even though it has been very successful to me, but I want to talk about success in general, success in your life. Now, I don't want to brag, but I do need to convince you that my life has been successful. I married my high school sweetheart, had 4 adorable children. They grew up, and now I have 11 grandchildren. I have a great life. Oh, I also went to law school, and I'm a practicing lawyer. That's why I don't post a video every single week, even though I want to. But in addition to having a great family and a lot of money, I've also had a very active and fulfilling creative life. Throughout my adult life, I played and sang in 2 rock bands. I also produced an album of all original music with a lot of my friends. I produced stage shows, concert, radio plays, and I even did an original musical last year. I actually have an addiction to creativity. That's what makes me want to do this YouTube channel. Yeah, I love the fact that we live in a world where one single person with a little bit of equipment can produce amazing things. Aside from my other creative ventures, in 1994, I decided to produce a documentary film, knowing nothing about documentary filmmaking. And making that documentary spilled over into other work like corporate videos, commercials, and shorts. Now, if you're really interested, I'll leave a link to my documentary film. Just remember a couple of things. First, this was done in standard definition. And second, I didn't know what I was doing when I started. But I think the story still shines through. In fact, so did a bunch of other people as I travel around the world and won a number of awards. And that's where I learned the thing that I'm sure you've heard over and over again, and that is story is the most important thing. And second is audio. Got to be able to hear it. And third down in there is video, because, we'll watch any kind of crap. But if it doesn't sound good and there's no story to it, well, we're turning it off. But this video isn't about storytelling. It's about the key to your success. Here it is. Write this down. Just do something, and something good will probably happen. Okay, that seems like a nothing statement, but it's a mantra that I've repeated myself over and over again. And when I've applied it, it has worked miracles. Let me illustrate with a little story. About 1.5 years ago, the National Association of Music Merchants, or NAMM, had a convention in Anaheim. And I've gone to this convention a number of times, and it's for musicians. There's all kinds of equipment and things that you can look at. It's fantastic and a lot of fun, especially if you're a musician like myself. It's a little hard to get into. I did have some connections, and I pulled those strings, and I've been able to go a few times. But when I got the opportunity to go, I wasn't sure that it was going to do me any good. But using my mantra, do something and something good will probably happen, I decided that I would go, and while I was there, I would review the DJI mic system, thinking that some of my viewers might really want to watch that video. Not very many of you watched that video, but still, I had a great time, and I saw a lot of great things, and it kind of spurred a lot of ideas for me, which is something that, as a creative person, I really, really enjoy. I even got to see Stevie Wonder. He wasn't performing, he was just there. Yeah. It was really a nice experience, and I thought, I'm glad I came. And then I stopped for lunch. So at the convention floor, there was a little pizza place there, and I bought my $15 slice of pizza, and I sat down for lunch. Now, there were only a couple tables there, and so a young woman came up and asked if she could sit. Of course, that'd be great. And I started talking to her. And the shirt that she had on made me think that she probably was working a booth there. So I asked her the booth that she was working at, and it was a company that made these little digital turntables for DJs. And I have one of those from Pioneer, and so I was talking to her, and we were kind of chatting a little bit about that. And I asked her what she actually did for the company, and she told me that she did social media for the company. Then I asked, well, what does a social media person do? And she says, well, she has a budget of about $100,000, and she goes around to influencers and she pays them to make little videos. I was stunned. I said, well, these must be the high-level people that you're paying this money to. And he goes, no, the high-level people all go to a different company. She's getting the up-and-comers as they come up, trying to create relationships with them so that they can be the big stars and they will look back with fondness to their company. I was blown away by this. I had no idea. I probably drilled her for about 15 more minutes on all the information that I could get out of her about what was going on. The next day, I got on a plane and went to NAB, and the first thing I did is I walked over to my favorite lighting company, Aperture, and I asked to see the social media person.
Why don't you give me your info, and then I can probably set that up.
Okay.
And we'll see what we can do. I see your videos pop up.
Yeah?
They're my recommended.
Now I feel like I'm missing out.
Dude, it's an old card.
Oh wow, look at that.
But it has the right.
Look at that headshot.
It has that was a long
my
time.
gosh.
That was from a documentary film I made back in the early 2000s.
I love it.
I took around the rest of the world, but it was shot most on Beta SP. So it's been a while since I was actually young and beautiful. Now I'm just beautiful.
I love it.
I then went to all the other companies that I really enjoyed, and I introduced myself and gave them my card and tried to create a relationship. And when I got back from that NAB, I had a handful of cards, and those cards have been invaluable to me. Now, I'd like to tell you that what I learned turned me into an instant success at NAB, but that wouldn't be true, because there's another principle that you need to understand, and that is that everyone who succeeds fails. Yeah, Aperture and Amaran did not start sending me product right away. It took me 7 months before they reached out to me to give me my first product. Now, failure is tough and nobody likes it, but you know what? It's part of the dues that you have to pay for success. And the sooner you understand that, well, the sooner you'll go out and make yourself vulnerable so that you can have some success. Now, in my many years of negotiations, I've learned that it doesn't help to take rejection personally. They're just rejecting your offer. They're not really rejecting you. Or even if they are rejecting you, you're not rejecting you. So you're fine. The person you're trying to get through to, well, they have a list of things that they want to do. They don't want to get fired. They want their boss to like them. They want to get the biggest bang for their buck. If they turn you down, it's not because they're an a-hole. I mean, they might be an a-hole, but they're probably not. Certainly no one at Aperture or Amaran that I ever met would I call an a-hole. They are super nice people over there. But they have a job to do, and they need to do the best job that they can. And so you just need to bring your value to them and try to create that relationship and see what happens. When I made my first Aperture deal, I started to reach out to other companies as well and telling them about my Aperture deal. And you know what? That really helped me get the foot in the door to get other people involved. Because by this time, I had been around for a few years and I wasn't going anywhere. Now, I'd like to tell you that now that I've made it, no company turns me down. Well, that's not true. Remember that handful of cards that I got at NAB? Well, some of those people, well, they never returned my email. Now, I still reach out from time to time, and I'll try again at this next NAB. And even if I never make a deal with any of those companies, well, I'm fine with that, because my successes have far outweighed my failures. Now, Woody Allen has been quoted as saying that the secret to life is showing up. I have a friend of mine who added to that, show up and be kind. And that's 90% of all you really need to do in life. And to some extent, it really is that simple. And lastly, I would encourage you to develop a sense of who you are. Now, you've probably heard the advice, be yourself. I'm not even sure what that means. I'm not even sure who myself is. But what I am is I'm very comfortable with myself. And I'm very comfortable with others. When you have love in your heart for yourself, it doesn't make you a narcissist if you also love the person across the negotiating table from you. Actually, that makes you a Christian in my book. Now, you may not be a Christian, but it's great advice to love others and to love yourself. It's much better than the blame and shame cycle that people get into. They blame everybody else for their problems, or they blame themselves for their problems. Now, I know this probably isn't what you wanted out of a video that claims to have the secret to success, but you know what? This is the only way it's going to happen. Because if anyone is out there telling you, hey, do this, 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 and this, and this, and you'll be successful, well, you know what? They're lying to you, and they're trying to sell you something. Because the reality is, your success, my success, it's going to be very, very different. But if you get out there, and you're kind, and you have a sense of wholeness in yourself, and a love for those people around you, miracles are going to occur in your life. And you'll look back and you'll say, wow, look at this little thing that happened here and all the things that came from it. Look at this time when all these things came out from it. Yeah, you'll have that experience in your life, and you'll be grateful for it, and you'll be glad that you got out there and just did something. Hey, thanks for letting me ramble on. If you'd like more advice, well, just let me know down in the comments, and maybe I'll make another video like this. Or maybe this becomes a complete failure for me, and I just move on. Either way, I'm fine. Hey, YouTube thinks you should watch that video right over there, though. They think that'll help you. I don't know. Give it a shot.